All right, let's talk about episode 5, Little Lies. This one so far is my least favorite episode. There's 3 more to go. Hopefully, it picks up. This one was the weakest for me. So, this one opens up with yet again another flashback. This time, we're looking at Charles Lee Ray in the 1980s with Fiona Dorff, the daughter of Brad Dorff, who plays Nikki in Curse and Cult of Chucky. She's in Brad Dourif makeup to look like her dad in the 1980s, and they do a good job making her look like him. And of course, when she talks, it's his voice, dubbing over her. And so then when it cuts back to present day, I'm just wondering how they somehow lost Chucky. Like, how did they not get him like right away? Like when he's flipping them off, like what happened between that and where this episode starts, present day? Like how did they lose him? Like they should have just ran in there at some point, like right then, and grabbed the doll, but somehow Caroline's dad gets the doll and then throws him down the garbage chute and he lands in like a big old pit of used needles and he's having like a trip. He's like, what a rush. I love hospitals. But it's like, how did they lose him? They should have just ran in right then and there as he was flipping them off. Like, excuse me, let me just get this doll and I'll be out of your hair. The moment Caroline wakes up, she instantly is a fucking brat. And for some reason, she has like this OCD where she has to say everything 3 fucking times. I just noticed it in this episode, but looking back, she was doing it before, where everything she says it 3 times. Reminded me of my sister growing up. That's how she was. She had all these OCDs that made you want to slap the shit out of her, saying things multiple times, and then pretending that she didn't hear you. She'd be like, what? No, could you say that again, even though I did hear you, but I just want to pretend like I didn't so I can hear you say it twice because I say everything twice? Like, oh, so I can relate to Lexi in a way. I had a sibling just like that. It's so fucking annoying. Like, this little girl Caroline, I want her dead now. Like, I want every character in this series to die. They're all despicable or just brats. But I get it, she's a kid. But still, I'd like to see Chucky kill her. This is the episode where they really develop the relationship between Devin and Jake. Like, they officially are like boyfriends now. And, they're holding hands in the hallway and then they make it look like they're holding hands standing still for like an hour because they do that thing where they're standing still but everything around them is like fast forward, like everyone's like zooming by them as like some kind of time lapse thing. It's ridiculous. Like they were really just standing there. Am I supposed to think they were really standing in the hallway holding hands, looking at each other, not blinking for a fucking hour? That's absurd. I like that Lexi is grounded. Makes sense, seeing as how she's the one that started the fire. I was wondering if she was going to get punished at all, seeing how shitty of a parent her mom is. But she is actually grounded, so that makes sense. Good. We get another callback to Child's Play 2 when he gets a new doll for his daughter. She doesn't like melted face Chucky, so he replaces Chucky with Tommy, like in Child's Play 2, and then throws melted Chucky away, but melted Chucky puts his soul into Tommy, which you knew that happened. At the end of the episode, they like flash back and they show what happened. Like, oh, he put his soul into Tommy. It acts like it's kind of like this twist reveal, but it's like you knew that's what more than likely happened in between scenes. And after he threw melted Chucky away, the daughter, Lexi, goes and guards the trash can. The other 2 friends show up. They open a trash can, and there's somehow a skunk inside just to make you think Chucky's in there, like, banging around. But it's like, dude, how did that skunk get in there when the dad didn't see the skunk? It was already in there? Like, he would have saw the skunk when he opened it and put the doll in there, but I guess not. But anyways, so they beat the shit out of melted Chucky, thinking they've killed him, but of course, he's not dead. And then to celebrate, after thinking they've killed Chucky, they start kissing Devin and Jake. And then we get this flashback to Charles meeting Tiffany for the first time. He goes to kill Tiffany. He's with this other crazy bitch who's just like Tiffany, Delilah or something, and then he ends up killing her instead of Tiffany, and he tells Tiffany, like, you should dye your hair blonde. And then he says something that's like a nod to a line in Child's Play 3 where he's like, it's definitely you. Then we find out that Bree has stage 4 cancer, so it turns out I was wrong. She is not cheating on her husband. It made it look like she was fooling around in the first couple of episodes, but it turns out her big secret is that she has cancer and she doesn't know how to tell her family about it. Then we are finally seeing current day Nika, or Chucky in Nika's body, and Tiffany, and sorry, but Jennifer Tilly is just not a great actress. She's not that good in this. But they're on the same they're on the same bed in the same room at the same hotel that they were at over 30 plus years ago, and that room has not changed at all, which is a bit of a stretch, but whatever. And so Nika is like her soul is like fighting back against Chucky's. Like a bit of her is still in there, and she keeps like snapping, out of it. Like she's taking back control of her body, and when it's Nika in control of the body, she's paralyzed. But then when Chucky takes control of the body again, she can walk again, which makes no sense, but it's supernatural voodoo shit, so you just gotta look past it. There's a Swedish meatballs reference. Tiffany starts talking about that, just like in Bride of Chucky, and talking about her mother. She's always bringing up her goddamn mother. And then when Nika is Nika, she's like giving this big exposition dump to this guy tied up in a chair explaining the last 2 movies. And we get like this big montage of those 2 films and all the kills, and it just felt so there for people who are not fans of those movies and haven't seen them. Like, we don't need to see that. It just felt so forced. The way it was written, it was just so bad. Like, oh, here's everything you need to know in case you haven't watched the movies for some reason and you're watching this TV show. And then when she slits, Chucky takes back control of the body and he slits the guy's throat. And at first, it's a cool practical effect, but then at some point, like all kinds of like CG-looking blood starts gushing out. It looked so CG. If it wasn't, I'd be shocked because at first it looked real, but then when it started like pouring out in the last couple of seconds, it looked like bad CG blood, which is so unnecessary. The end of the episode is the town hall like meeting, and I'm glad the whole town hates the mayor just like I do. They think that she's a murderer because of what happened at her daughter's room at the hospital and the murder at her house with the fire. And so it's good to see that her reputation's getting destroyed by Chucky. And so, yeah, then the principal's head just goes rolling in, and her eyes on her head are blinking, implying that she like just recently got decapitated. And in the back, the curtains like open. There's a big old spotlight on her headless body, tied up to a chair, and her thumbs up, because Chucky's got a sense of humor. And how did he rig all that? I don't know. Like, he got the spotlight ready and everything and killed her very quietly. It's not like her mouth was duct taped or anything. Like, what did he cut her head off with? And why wasn't she, like, making noise back there for, calling out for help? But anyways, that was a pretty cool, like, prom night ending, the head rolling out on the stage. So that was a pretty cool ending. But yeah, then you get that flashback where they reveal that, oh my gosh, Tommy is now Chucky. It's like, that's not a twist. Like, you knew that's what happened, more than likely. So yeah, overall, this episode was definitely not the best. It's the weakest to me so far. Has a pretty dark, funny ending with the principal getting killed like that. I wasn't big on the flashback stuff with Nika and like all that exposition and the CG blood. They looked CG to me, and I just not digging the main characters as much as I want to, but I'm not gonna go down too hard on this episode. It was fine. So I will give this one 2.5 out of 5 stars. Hopefully in episode 6, Caroline will die. Let's hope for it. Or the mayor, just somebody that I hate. There's too many shithead characters that are still alive at this point. So let's kill some of these douchebags, all right? So those are my thoughts on episode 5. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below, and I will see you in episode 6 video.